Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Tap In podcast. This is episode number 24. And we just did it. Get a round of applause for us, man. We just cracked a full year. This is officially post the anniversary of the Tapped In podcast. Been a year, man. The ups and downs. Of course, if you've been here long enough, you know that this technically isn't the anniversary of just podcasting for myself now, because we used to have another podcast and that was very, very short lived. But if we're just keeping it to the Tapped In podcast, then yes, we have completed a whole year. By the time of this recording, we've already celebrated. We've already done whatever we've planned to do, and man, all I can say is every week it just feels like there's always just some more ridiculous, obscure, and just wild news. And I'm happy to bring it to you. But I will say that I am just thoroughly disappointed, like against my will esque shit, because I was scrolling through Instagram and I saw the video. I don't know if you guys saw it, but it's Adam 22, and he's taking a picture of, I guess, his wife. She's sitting on a couch, and all around her and around this couch is just a bunch of dudes, you know, like that famous meme of Piper Perry on the fucking couch and all these all these fucking black guys just around her. I guess they were trying to recreate that. Adam 22, man. Listen, I'm not here to king shame. I guess do whatever makes you happy. To each their own. But goddamn, Adam 22 must be trying to do this for some sort of publicity, you know. If you remember a while back, he had all those allegations against him, like the things with the 16-year-old girls, other allegation, like he was in some muddy waters. And then all of a sudden, Jason Love comes in the mix, and people are talking about how Adam 22 is a certified cuck. But this is different. I know that we talk about Will Smith being a cuck, all right, and him being okay with it, because he defends that woman like she's got to have some serious dirt on him, all right. I don't know what Jada Smith knows about Will Smith, but like she's keeping him hostage, bro. Like there's no other form of explanation to justify this, But anyway, Adam 22. They had fucking C-Mac, bro. They had Crip Mac and that shit. They had they had that blueberry looking dude just in that shit. Just I don't know if you saw the fucking image, but he looked like he was about to bust, like right there. He he had the same look that you're fucking hungry. You see a bucket of KFC, you're salivating. This motherfucker was salivating at the thought of just being in there. That's gotta be the most wild shit. You're going to work, you turn around and you see fucking Crib Mac giving you like a nod, like yeah, yeah. Nah, bro, get the fuck away from me. What the fuck? I ain't about to finish this shit. But that's disgusting. Like how I said, I wasn't here to king shame, but I am. Adam, you're never gonna see this, but like, Jesus Christ, dude, how are you? Are you just so willing to give her up, man? She, like I said, she must have some shit on him, because there's just no way. Yeah. But being in there with Crip Mac, bro, you must be scarred. But speaking of being scarred, there's a report that went around of these fourth graders who were left, quote, distraught after watching Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey. So apparently they were shown this in their math class by their math teacher. And obviously my first question was, what the fuck type of math lesson is this? Calculate the amount of tears you've shed before your parents come pick you up. You know, calculate the amount of times this movie was ass. All right, I'm not even gonna lie. The day before this news broke about these children and their unfortunate viewing experience, I was actually watching the movie. It was the first time that I watched it. It was awful. Uh, but anyway, they traumatize kids, and traumatizing kids is definitely what the school system is about. So kudos to them, I guess. This is a decisive one because the teenager in me, or like the last year being a teenager, I don't have kids, so I can laugh at this. But if I was a parent, I would be fucking mortified. I would be pissed. Anyway, the math teacher let the movie play for 20 to 30 minutes. Keep in mind that there's a scene in those 20 to 30 minutes, pretty early on in the movie, where Winnie rips off the shirt off of a girl in there. So he exposes the tatas, and then he just ends up cutting her like little salami pieces. When I was in fourth grade, we were still using those little bits to count up past 100. You know what I mean? So, like, there's so many questions here. Why this movie in particular? Why was this movie the one that you chose to for the kids to watch, bro? Like, there's no math involved. What the fuck? It doesn't have a rating, but it's like, for a goddamn fact that these fourth graders should not be watching this shit. They even had to go see some therapists, from what I've heard. They were that mortified, terrified, and just overwhelmed by everything that they saw. Don't take all these, you know, cartoons from the past that everybody holds deep because of childhood nostalgia and turn it into this. Man, that's so unfortunate, but like just the idea that, you come back to pick up your fucking kid and you're like, oh man, my kid seems more quiet than usual, she's not talking. I wonder why. And then you have your fucking child come up to you, it's like, Mom, what's a wood chipper? What the fuck? Where did you learn this shit? I imagine every kid now can never see a fucking Winnie the Pooh doll without, well, pooing themselves, I guess. But speaking of pooing yourself, I would poo myself if I had T-Mobile. If you didn't know, T-Mobile plans to switch users to pricier plans. Now, according to CNET, T-Mobile is planning to hit customers with much more expensive plans starting next week, unless they choose to opt out. Now, this is about to become a real NBA offseason, I feel like. Because people are going to start pulling a LeBron, and, they're going to be like, oh, I'm taking my talents to South Beach. I'm taking my talents to fucking cricket or Metro PCS or wherever the fuck people go to get their services and whatever. But yeah, this is very different, right? They got to start enticing their customers, or else they're just gonna see a really big drop and a continuous drop. You can't just up the prices like it's nothing, man. I'm still getting over the fact that I gotta pay extra for some fucking eggs, you know. But yeah, like I said, they gotta start enticing their customers. Like you just hear a sultry voice. It's like, oh, you guys finally got back to me. I was calling because I plan to switch my service providers, and then you just say, hey, before you do that though, who are you choosing to go with? And I'm like, I don't know, fucking Verizon or some shit. We'll do something Verizon won't do, and then they just leave it at that. They got to start doing something, right? Like those, don't they have something called T-Mobile Tuesday or some shit like that? I don't know. I'm not a T-Mobile customer, but entice people. Show them that you are willing to do what those other services won't. Reel me in. Fuck it. Uh, speaking of pulling somebody in, a suspected bomb in Panama City flight was actually discovered to be an adult diaper. So at approximately 11 a.m., Boeing 737-800 landed and was directed to a remote area of the tarmac. Somebody really said, I'm about to blow this shit up. And, unfortunately, miscommunications happened. And, yeah, well, the good thing is that it wasn't an actual bomb. That's always the great part. What I learned actually recently was that in event of a hijacking for a plane, the pilot is, for whatever reason, oh well, I shouldn't say for whatever reason, the pilot has the distinction and just the main priority, never let go of control of, operating the plane. Like the pilot is not able to just give up control, even if the attackers are like, hey, we're gonna start killing people one by one, we're gonna, start hurting innocent people. The pilot is not allowed to give up control. Yes, this is post 9/11, and people, just decided that, hey, it's worse that the people who overtake these planes can actually end up, they commit like a fucking kamikaze type shit and then just end up killing everybody. So it was decided that, hey, the pilots, they're not gonna give up control because we don't want a repeat of 9/11 to happen where, they crash the airplane and they kill everybody. They're like, at least if the captain survives, if the pilot survives, that's something. But in events like this, you can't give up control, even if it means risking the lives of individuals who will get like fucking persecuted by these attackers. It wasn't that situation in here. It was just a big diaper. Anyway, the picture is something else because the diaper is big as hell. This ain't no little kids pull up. This shit a grizzled old veterans. I'ma just let it flow type beat diaper. All right, this is the diaper that you buy when you just give up. Like you know that you can't like reach around. You're like, oh my god, I'm not gonna make it. I'm not gonna make it. Oh my god, my house is not even located here. I'm not about I'm not about to make it to the bathroom. That's the shit. That's the type of diaper this is. But thankfully, nobody got injured. Nobody was harmed. But I'm just gonna ask the question: How did they just? Why did they see a diaper and just be like, "Oh shit, a bomb," and then just start fucking asking questions? They made the right choice. I'm glad everybody's safe. Nobody was hurt. That's all that matters. And that's all that matters is truthfully the mentality that this fake lawyer had. Now, this fake lawyer went under the name of Brian Mwanda, who was an actual real lawyer with a license to practice, you know? Now, this fake lawyer, we'll just continue to call him Brian, he won 26 of his cases, but now has been arrested in Kenya. So, I mean, at this point, just let the man win his 27th case. At this point, let him pull a fucking Sal Goodman and have him represent himself in court. Because the fact that real ass lawyers just lost to him just A proves how good of a lawyer he fucking is, and B just how shitty everybody else is. I mean, how the fuck do you lose to a fake lawyer? Actually, how the fuck did nobody like check him? And what does this mean for the cases? Like, for the cases that he represented, and he obviously won. Do they just get nullified? Do they have to redo the shit? They have to go through the whole process again. It's like so many questions here. But hey, listen, you let that man in. He said, "Fuck the bar. I am the bar. I go above the bar. I am the law." Type shit. I can't even get mad. Like I really can't. Like this man is a fucking genius. Besides the fact that it's illegal and you get arrested, this man does not let a little piece of congratulatory paper deter him from his dreams, and I think that's inspiring. But of course, you have to legally get into this business. But I'm just saying, that's some real ass Saul Goodman shit. Which, by the way, yes, I watched it this year. I spent like a solid amount of months watching it, and that show is just it's fucking superb. Chef's kiss. I came from watching Breaking Bad before it, right? And when I was watching, I'm like, how the fuck do you top this? Because it almost feels like you can't. It's just the perfect mixture of storytelling, drama, action, all these intricacies and these layers are like, what show is gonna top this? I was a fanatic, and then I watched Better Call Saul, and it's like, okay, it started off a little slow, the introduction, of the characters, and just the premise and all these plots and seeing returning faces in the first season. It's like, okay, cool. But then it starts to pick up, man. Fucking Lalo has got to be one of the best fucking protagonists I've ever seen, man. That whole show is just fucking superb, man. I can't. All I'm gonna say, I know people would want another form of spinoff, maybe a Mike story, maybe a story about Gus. Who knows? But I sometimes it's better to end on a high note than come back and tarnish the perception and reputation that you've already built. These are two shows that are top tier, some of the best television drama that you're gonna get. So why go through everything again and come out with something that might not meet those expectations? I don't know. Everybody can have their own opinion about this. Everybody, is split between, hey, don't do any more spin-offs, and hey, I wouldn't mind seeing this from this person. But I feel like this is the perfect closing. Well, as close of a closing that you can get to the characters in the Breaking Bad universe. But yeah, this man is real life Saul Goodman for real. And you know what? He should have been hired for this man. Now there is a 50-year-old man from Lithuania who was going around Spain, and he just started faking heart attacks in 20 restaurants because you know what? Sometimes you get the bill, you maybe ate something that you didn't necessarily check the price to, and you say, fuck that, I'm about to fucking die right now. So the guy was like, fuck it, I'm not paying this shit, and just started having fake heart attacks. And my man's just went crazy. Uh, at one point, they finally caught him. After 20, they were like, hey man, this is starting to get suspicious. I'm about to pull a fucking Sherlock Holmes and start investigating. So, man, this is what happens when you're just full of greed. After 10, you capped at 10 and you should have been like, all right, fuck it, I'm going to leave the industry now and just, retire the legend. But no, my man's had to keep going. Anyway, he got arrested because obviously that's just not the correct thing to do. But, like, if that man would have tried this at the heart attack grill, for real, I think, he could have made it. Because that's already the branding that you're gonna die. Like that's the whole thing, right? So like obviously it would have worked. So if you ever get in the position of this man, just go to the heart attack grill, and then get hit with a real bill from the ambulance, and you're gonna for real have a heart attack. Cause that shit is outrageous. Why the fuck does it cost $7,000 to get a fucking band-aid? You know? What the fuck? That's why I used to when I was a kid, I always watched my dad, because he got hurt one time. He busted his hand. And my mom was like urging him. He was like, go to the hospital, go get checked out, go get a brace or something. He was like, no, 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 no. I ain't doing none of that shit. He fucking and it was funny watching him drive because he couldn't steer the wheel all the way, because his hand fucking hurt because he broke it. And the man just refused because he knew damn well, He used the fucking Shaq method. Just rub some icy hot on that shit and patch it up and call it a day. There's no way that I'm about to spend my fucking my 3 months rent on some fucking band-aids or whatever the fuck they were gonna do to him. So I think that's a perfect encapsulation of the fucking health insurance thing here in America. But anyway, this 50-year-old man could have gone to the heart attack grill and just had a blast. Honestly, who's gonna stop him? Who's gonna check him? Yo, the heart attack grill has to be studied, bro. But like mostly the people who come there, like of course it's an attraction. It's located in Las Vegas, from what I remember. And the guy there, he's like a bald, shriveled up man. Real life doomsday ass looking dude. He had like a spokesperson too, and I believe that the spokesperson ended up dying. He was actually pretty young from what I remember. And when he was cremated, he was put into this bag. And this bag is a hefty bag, bro. This bag is pretty big. And the guy carried it like it was a fucking trophy. Like it was a memento or some shit. And he would go around and he's like, "Oh, you see, this is what happens when you eat at my restaurant." But he's so like, he's a he's a mad genius. I don't even know if that's the correct word here. Because he exploits people, but he also like cares for them in a way. I don't know. The guy just used the used tactics that, I mean, it's not illegal, but it's like, what the fuck, legal versus ethics, of course he profits off of this, and it's a fucking attraction for a reason. But he's literally feeding people butter, like straight up, just drink that shit, like it's a fucking, I don't know, liter of water or some shit. But hey, at the end of the day, he's not in control of people's actions. He's not in control of people's diets. You come in there, you don't finish your food, you get spanked in the ass by some skimpy looking women. And you call it a day. So he's only doing what a businessman does. Uh, I don't know, man. I would never dine there. Like, dude, I'm a big person, and even I would be hesitant. Fucking eat a sandwich, I feel like I'm about to die. Like, oh shit, I feel stuffed. And that shit don't even fit in your mouth. Like the shits that they be serving. Fucking crazy. And speaking about crazy and just about diets, dude. A couple of days ago, I was looking at the fucking statistics of Dwight Howard's in-season diet. So this is like very early in his NBA career, and I'm telling you, this shit was ridiculous. Here is the list: 25 candy bars, McDonald's before every game, which included two double cheeseburgers, large fries, small fries, strawberry chocolate milkshake, a large Coke, Skittles, Starburst, Twix, Tootsie Rolls, Snickers, and Popeyes. Man's had the palate of a 6-year-old little boy. This is some giant snake, birthday cake, large fries, chocolate shake ass diet, man. He ultimately cleaned up, right? So he wasn't eating all this shit, and he ended up buying his own farm because he was done with eating processed foods. But just the fact that he was able to be in the NBA and consume all that, like he's a pretty big dude, and not like in terms of weight, just in terms of height. So the fact that he was able to consume all this, and from what I know, it didn't really cause him difficulties, but he did see like some sort of doctor who was like, "What the fuck are you doing?" He's like, "Well, what is this, man? You're not about to be in the league if you do all this shit. You're gonna develop, I don't know, fucking diabetes or or whatever, or some sort of complication." So he cleaned up his act. Good for him. Mans has always been a beast. I feel like he should definitely still be in the NBA. I think he could contribute greatly. I think there was even a report of just what was it? Oh yeah, there was a report not too long ago about the Golden State Warriors. And he was getting a tryout, and ultimately it didn't go through. But yeah, that man deserves to be still in the NBA. The man, there's a lot of upside in having such a versatile big in terms of just defending and being able to just keep on the post. He's definitely for that. He should be in there. But if he had continued this, man, I don't think he would have made it to the bubble and won the ring there. You know, by God, how are you not dead, sir? I mean, I guess if you're running up and down the court, you start destroying some of these calories and carbohydrates and shit. But this is insane. I don't even think I could finish half of the shit that he's eating there. And it seems like he has like a very affinity for like the sweet stuff. So that would have been more complicated as the years went on. Wear and tear on the body, your body breaks down, and fucking having fucking sugar run through your veins, isn't the best idea, man. This is it's fucking crazy. And obviously, speaking of crazy, whoever runs the site The Times belongs in fucking prison for this absurd take. Now, the site The Times has coronated Taylor Swift's 1989 album as quote album of the century. Everything I know about Taylor Swift has and will most likely be always against my will. But like, as a 19-year-old man, I'm okay with her music. I'm not like a Swiftie. I'm not a diehard Swiftie, but I'm not a Kanye stan either. So I wouldn't bash her. But let's just say that I've been let know of her life more than I know about my fucking friends. So that gets annoying. And apparently if you talk bad about her, the Swifties come after you. And they are rabid. Alright? So I will tiptoe the lines here, okay? And I'll just say this to any fucking Taylor Swift fan. 1989 over to Pimp a Butterfly? I remember, Pepperidge Farm remembers, motherfucker. I do. All right. Her Eras tour, amazing. All right. The documentary thing or whatever she just came out with, huge profits. I mean, it does help when you have such a dedicated fan base. But my whole issue with 1989 has and always will be that it won a Grammy over To Pimp a Butterfly, which was Miles, much emphasis on Miles, better conceptually, cohesively. I mean, this could just be like a fucking gripe towards the Grammys because they have had some very dumbass decisions, some questionable decisions, and at the end of the day, it's not even for hip hop fans. It's just like a popularity contest. You've heard this whole speech again and again. It's the reason Eminem won't do the Grammys. Is the reason why. Sometimes you don't even need the fucking stamp of approval, but we still watch it because why? We just want to see how fucked up they can get, and this is just an example of this. All right, this is an example of this for sure. I mean, you've seen it with like the fucking heist. Macklemore, Good Kid, Mad City, and this is not. Obviously I've just used like two Kendrick Lamar examples, but like it's beyond him. I mean, fucking Invasion of Privacy over Astro World. The fuck? I'm just saying. Taylor Swift is cool. I don't even mind her music. I bump some Taylor Swift here and there again. But album of the motherfucking century? I mean, come on. Come on, man. You gotta at least agree on that. Listen, I mean her fucking fans when she was doing her performance or whatever. I remember there was a report that was like, "Oh, the Swifties have gone mad. The Swifties are so powerful that they rocked too hard and they actually caused like a miniature earthquake." Like that's how many people she has on a on a fucking global scale. Like this is impressive, but like scary, because they're like diehards, man. I'd want to see the crossover. I would love to just see the crossover, see how much mess we could actually make if we made the K-pop stands and the Swifties just fucking go at each other, because that would be the ultimate fucking match, dude. You have two diehard dedicated fan bases cutthroat at each other, just this is my man's, type shit. I would buy some tickets to see that interaction. But yeah, apart from the whole Grammy situation, everything else, congratulations to Taylor Swift. Apparently, this is the most profitable uh tour that there has ever been. And again, I will say this again. It really does help when you have a diehard fan base now. That fan base is particularly a certain demographic, and they're going to continue. Okay, I won't get into it, but you understand my gripe, all right? I don't hate Taylor Swift. I just feel that 1989 being called album of the century is just fucking insane. Century not even over, baby. We still got more shit to listen to. You never know what might come next. But yeah, whoever runs that site, man, you got to go to jail. You got to at least go to prison for like a year for that absurd take. But keeping in the theme of prison, we have a bunch of stories that relate to that. A wanted Florida man tried to throw cops off with a sign that says, "I don't live here." Now, the man's name is Johnny Yates, and he is a 41-year-old man wanted by the Polk County Sheriff's Office for aggravated battery. Now, listen, I just had to do my due diligence, and we found out that old Johnny Boy is a Florida man, which just explains everything. It gives me everything that I needed to know. Florida man used 100% of his brain power on that one. You know, that's some real Scooby Doo ass idea. Can you imagine this man legitimately feeling shocked as they're dragging him out of his room? Like, oh man, I for sure thought that this was gonna work. I just imagine this man coming out of his room like Swiper the Fox when Dora's like, fuck no, get away from me. You know, I'm not gonna give you the fucking boots. And he just like snapped his finger and does the little thing with his arms, like, oh man, like that's exactly how I see this thing going. Oh, but the fact that this man thought that writing on a dry erase board was like, oh man, they're never gonna catch this. Like this is some genius shit. It's like it's like those innovations, dude, that I see on TikTok and shit, where it's like, oh hey, are you trying to run from the cops? Are you trying to hide? And the guy has like a big ass piece of like cardboard on his back, right? And then he just like fucking blends into the wall or something. He looks like a fucking piece of the insulation. Like he looks like it looks like one of those gray tubes that just connect to a wall and shit. And you're like, oh, no, this is part of the machinery. There's nobody here. Hidden in plain sight, you know. Can I even say that kudos to him for trying? Cause like you gotta imagine that this is 100% of his brain power. He's like, oh, this is my Hail Mary attempt. You know, if this doesn't work, then I'm fucked. Obviously it didn't work. Because they just found is that they had to ask the neighbor. They're like, all right, fuck it. And then he wouldn't come out. So they just stormed in there and just dragged him out. By God. It would have been funny if they would have fallen for that one, though. I will give them that. Uh, aggravated battery. Who the fuck knows who he assaulted? But moving on, Suge Knight reportedly is set to start a podcast. If you don't remember, Suge Knight is in prison. So this is gonna be a real prison podcast, man. How the fuck did this happen? They let anyone have a podcast nowadays, it feels like. And this is coming from somebody who, just reports absurdities about what's happened in the week. So I don't think nobody wants to hear fucking Suge Knight start talking shit. That man is a fucking demon, like for real. Didn't he have that hit and run where he ran over the person and then just fucking drove off? I'm pretty sure that's why he's in prison. Anyway, how the hell does that even happen? You know? This man must have traded all his fucking ramen packets for a shitty $50 microphone, which is actually, pretty commendable. If he's so dedicated to the grind, because I imagine this man has nothing better to do than to start talking shit. I bet you first podcast episode, it's gonna be like, oh, why I think Puffy killed Tupac or some shit, which is still insane. The fact that Puffy has been connected with Tupac's murder is just absolutely fucking crazy. Now, I didn't talk about it last week, but I definitely did see all those headlines because it was like, oh man, this has been something that we've been watching very intently since like 1996. We're still waiting, and now we finally apprehended Keefe D, and he's giving all these confessions, and now he's starting to, point out some people, and it's like, okay, let's see what he's gonna say. And he's like, I got offered $1 million by Diddy to whack Tupac. And he's like, oh shit. Uh, which was always a constant rumor. I can't be the only one who heard that rumor before. And it does make sense. Now I'm not here to play conspiracy theorists because hey, God rest the souls of those men. But like it would make sense if he did. Because well, Puffy, was aligned with Biggie and they got was Puffy was aligned with Biggie. And Unfortunately, what happened to Biggie was just a retaliation for what happened to Pac at one point. So it was a lot of beef and animosity between just two sides who just fucked everything up because they lost their main guys. But Puffy has always been weird, man. Whether it's his antics, whether his involvement, only God knows. But I think we're gonna start seeing a lot of shady shit by Diddy, because wasn't he just like handing out everybody's masters back? Like they were just giving them out like fucking candy, and it came out of nowhere too. I think he knows a little bit much more than he fucking leads on. There's got to be something happening. Even 50 Cent has been trolling him online. It's like, oh, I always knew something was wrong with him. But yeah, let's just see where that develops. But yeah, Suge Knight having a podcast is fucking crazy. Apparently, he's set to like just give youngin some game, and you know, he's like the OG from the block, like real wisdom type shit. He's trying to pass down the wisdom. Listen, if you want to learn something, if you just fucking want to know how to, if you go to Suge Knight for advice, I don't know what to tell you, man. It's gonna have you shake somebody like he did Vanilla Ice, which is still a fucked up story. Which is still a which is still a fucked up story once you realize that Vanilla Ice's biggest fucking hit, Ice Ice Baby. He has no royalties on that shit. It's all Suge Knight. So every time it plays, anytime that somebody like Tyga makes a fucking rendition or does like an interpolation of it, that money is being pocketed by Suge Knight because he owns the fucking masters to that shit. He has the royalty. Besides that, he's trying to like teach people, I don't know, game or whatever. He's trying to become life in his cars. He's like, game is game, motherfucker. But if there's anything to learn from Suge Knight is don't fucking run people over with your car. And most importantly, don't fucking leave after you do so. This man is fucking insane. I can't believe he's still around. Like actually alive. He's just a big piece of shit, dude. But I got a question though. So when they had that emergency test a couple of weeks ago, and every phone just started to buzz, started going crazy if you were near cell towers. How many inmates do you think they got caught with like a fucking contrabanded phone? Like you just hear fucking rumblings between somebody's ass cheeks, and you're like, "Oh shit, he has it, go get him!" Like type shit. I just imagine everybody was freaking the fuck out, especially if you don't keep up with the news. Like you didn't know that the ringing was supposed to happen. Like, are y'all gonna be tuned in to Suge Knight's podcast? Let me know. Y'all barely even tune into mine. Fuck that bald motherfucker. Oh shit. Keeping up with the rest. The FBI reportedly visited iHeartRadio office, and they were conducting an investigation against DJ Envy. Remember when he was giving Jack Harlow too much personal information about how he couldn't please his wife? That's unrelated to the story, but I feel like it's important to bring up. Anyway, the New York FBI agents seized laptops, desk computers, hard drives, really any sorts of forms or whatever electronic equipment they could find in our heart radio station. Caesar Pina, a business partner of DJ Envy, was arrested this Wednesday, October 18th, 2023, for engaging in Ponzi like schemes, defrauding investors in millions of dollars. Listen, there's not really much of an update here, but if I'm willing to bet, DJ Envy certainly gets Donkey of the Day for sure. Like 100%, right? Like that's got to be a guarantee. Listen, I can't, like I said, I can't speak much about the situation because it's a developing story. But hey, Charlemagne, if you're watching for some reason, if you need a co-host, I have no experience, but I can definitely ask some out-of-pocket shit. You know what I mean? Uh, this man is a this man is fucking different. Charlemagne is just fucking different. He reminds me of a pretty milk dud. Now, I don't even know what the fuck that means. I just said it. He just looks like he takes care of his eyebrows. You know, it looks like he looks in the mirror and takes care of his lashes. Like he's the type of motherfucker to do that. By God. But he definitely just asked the most out of pocket. Remember what he asked Logic about his sister? He's like, Jesus Christ, dude, know some fucking boundaries. And then the creepy ass interaction that he had when he just fucking started sniffing the chair. It's like, dude, what the fuck is going on? This shit is wild. I I wouldn't mind being on. Listen, nobody listens to the radio that much. I don't believe. But yeah, listen, I can have some good references. Don't worry, I can hit you with a little bit of zingers here and there. All I'm saying, man, give it a try. I can be the voice for New York. You know, fuck it, why not? Hit me up, Charlemagne. Moving on though, we got to talk about this GameStop worker who was arrested for shooting a customer trying to steal Pokemon cards. Now, the GameStop worker is named Derek Guerrero, and he is a Florida GameStop employee, and he's being charged with manslaughter after fatally shooting a shoplifter who was stealing those Pokemon cards. Now, these Pokemon cards were worth $120 each. After viewing security footage, it was reported that the shoplifter posed no threat, and even though Florida does have a stand your ground law, if it involves deadly force to be used in cases of self defense against threats or death or great harm, the shoplifter was unarmed and he was only protecting property, which is not what the law defines, as standing your ground. If it's to protect your life, it's okay. But if we're talking about property and people are stealing from it and you just decide to fucking shoot somebody, the law is not going to protect you. Now, I refrain from saying, gotta catch all them hollow tips. But yeah, I mean, I don't think being a GameStop employee has to be that stressful. Like, obviously, you're gonna be met with like those people who are always trying to scam you, people who are trying to return like fucking consoles. Maybe it's like some fucking 50-year-old Karen that doesn't know how to operate a fucking system telling you that it's broken and whatever. But I don't think it ever gets to the point where, god damn, I gotta shoot somebody, I don't think it I don't think it gets to that point. Um it's unfortunately a situation because it's one of those things where it's like, why involve guns? Why, like, even if it's a shoplifter, dude, you're not Mr. GameStop. Like, I don't think your pockets are gonna be hurt if somebody steals it. Of course, you shouldn't steal. Like, that's fucking pretty common knowledge. But it's like you're willing to just throw away your whole life defending GameStop. Like, what type of sense does that make? You're willing to throw away years and years, potentially, phase. I don't know. Does Florida have a death penalty? I don't fucking know. You're willing to throw away years and years of just your life to be behind bars because you decided to stick up for GameStop. Dude, these are fucking big ass corporations, big enterprises, big businesses. Like, of course, I'm not like enabling the guy who was trying to steal, but it's like, come on, man. When are we gonna have some fucking common knowledge? And then I remember, oh yeah, fucking Florida. They don't have common knowledge. It's just shoot first, ask questions later type of mentality. And now it just resulted in fucking death because this guy was like, fuck it, I am the law. I am Batman. I am the fucking person who's gonna bring justice for everybody and for all. But Jesus Christ, this is some scary shit, man. Because anybody can be carrying and you don't even know it. Fuck around and find out at the worst opportunity possible. Damn shame. Damn shame. But moving on from that, we have this news report that says that toe wrestling world champion Ben Woodruff had his toenails surgically removed. I advise you do not look this up, especially if you are eating or just do not want to see that sight. Listen, I didn't even know that there was a sport for toe wrestling. And yes, it does play out whatever way you think it plays. I know Quentin Tarantino is salivating at the mouth right now at the thought of people interlocking toes and shit. This is the most disgusting thing to me, and I know that a lot of you motherfuckers with foot fetishes are like a little boy on Christmas morning, rumbling and shaking for anticipation and excitement. But it's just not my thing, man. Like, I don't want to put that visual out there, but there's just got to be somebody with like a very very encrusted foot, or like some sort of like wet foot or something. Like, oh Jesus Christ, I'm gonna stop talking. Uh, but yeah, I didn't even know that this was a real thing. Toe wrestling. Yeah, toe wrestling just sounds extreme. I'm pretty sure you step on a Lego and there goes your whole career. Like, you for real, it's just over. So you better pray you never step on something sharp or pointy, because if not, you're not gonna be able to fucking participate. And then it led me to a rabbit hole because I'm like, okay, I didn't know that toe wrestling was a thing. But did y'all know about guana pulling? Apparently, I'm not even sure if I pronounced that right, but it involves two participants tying leather straps around their necks, and the objective is to try to pull each other across a set line. This essentially is just arm wrestling, but with your neck. This has just got to be one of the most dangerous things to exist. Could you imagine, like, you're tied up with somebody, your neck is literally just being assaulted by a rope. One wrong move, one just giant sweep, and it's over. Like, you die. There's no coming back. It's fucked up. It's like watching two dogs fight over a stick, and you just see one like slowly pulling each other. This is the shit that I do with my dog. I have like a little chew toy rope, and she'll like grab it and start pulling it. So I imagine it's just two, and the fucking picture that I saw didn't help either because it was just two burly guys with this leather strap around their necks, and they looked like two fucking pit bulls going at it. It was barbaric, dude. It's fucking weird. You know? Uh, there's got to be like weirder sports, of course, but like Jesus Christ, it's got to be the most dangerous ones. I believe that there was like wife on your back racing. There was some sort of tractor thing with like pulling involved. There is some absurd shit. Not everything should be a sport. I think even like flying a kite technically is considered a sport. Shit. Let me know what your favorite sport is. Our next story focuses on a man who received a random $147,925 from a bank. Now, he originally was told to keep it. 41-year-old Ursulan Khan found the money on his account after the night prior having only a balance of $1. The incident was investigated further, and then the bank was like, hey, we see that we have misplaced this money. It'd be a real shame if you went missing. Please return it. Of course, they didn't say that first part, but they definitely requested their money back. Now the thing about this is that $147,925, right? Not enough to go to jail for, but like keeping it, truthfully, kind of worth fighting for. Not gonna lie. Listen, if they would have called me back, as soon as they were, as soon as they would have told me like, hey, don't worry about it, man. You can keep it. I'm disconnecting my phone immediately. I am changing my address. I am moving out. This is a good sum of money. I'm just pretending that I'm like off the grid because there's no way that I'm giving this money back. You just told me I could keep. I would be pissed. I would have ended up like Roman from GTA 4 when he's hiding in the garbage can, hiding from Dimitri and his goons and shit. Like, I would have just had to find a place of hiding. Because there's no way that I'm giving back this money, especially after you told me to keep it. But some people just really be out here living video game ass dreams. Is this some shit that you only see in fucking video games? Or you read in these fantasies? Oh man, fucking car broke down in front of me. guess I was blessed because fucking stacks of fucking Mario coins just started rolling out, and I became a millionaire instantly. Why doesn't the good shit happen to us? Like what the fuck? Just trying to see it. And speaking about money, because I want to relate it to money here. Millie Bobby Brown says she's ready to say thank you and goodbye to Stranger Things. Now, people are actually taking this and, a simple four-word expression by Millie Bobby Brown is kind of being taken out of context. People are saying that she's not being humble, that the show made her, that she would be nothing without the show, that people only recognize her from being, what, 11? I'm sorry, I don't know the fucking characters, I don't watch that shit. But to me, it didn't even sound like that. I think people are blowing this story out of proportion. I think that she's just ready to move on to new adventures. I mean, a decade on the same show, I'm sure she's more than ready to move on. It's like if you're in your early 20s, you work at McDonald's because, hey, quick money. Of course, I'm having these experiences, and of course, I'm, eager to go take my talent somewhere else when I hit the fucking 30s. But in the meantime, I'm gonna be enjoying this. Not everything has to fucking go on forever. We've seen fucking Grey's Anatomy. I don't know who watches Grey's Anatomy, but y'all keep reviving this show like it's absolutely essential. Like people are so into it. You would have thought that Grey's Anatomy is like crack, but like on TV, the way that people like salivate for it. That's the reason it doesn't die, you know? And Stranger Things now, it's bound to have a conclusion. Things are just not meant to go on forever because at some point, that creativity, that spark, that little illusion that people have of, oh, this is what makes this show unique, eventually it's going to run its course. And then you're going to start thinking, oh man, this shit fell off. This shit is not good anymore. This is not what I remember. It's better to go out on top than to, lose your limbs trying to keep up in a race that truthfully you already did 100 laps around. You don't have to be going this fucking hard for it. If you get what I'm trying to say. Um, he, like Stranger Things has been on for so long. I remember being in seventh grade. In seventh grade, I was like fucking what 13? I think. I think. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I was 13. No, I'm 19. All right. I remember being in seventh grade, hearing about Stranger Things. Everybody's like, "Oh man, have you watched that? Have you watched that?" And I'm not gonna lie, I hate. I have a deep burning passion for people who hype everything up, man. And when a show is hyped up as much as Stranger Things was when I was, a wee little lad, I will just refuse to watch the show. Not because I hate the people in it, just I hate the people and the commotion around it. Because to me, if you're gonna hype something up, I better be watching riveting television, man. I better leave with my perception of mankind and humanity altered for the better. So it was a lot of fucking expectation, a lot of, like I said, hypeness around it that I just never got around to watching it. Even now, I still refuse to watch it. I'm pretty glad though that I was able to evade the hypeness for Squid Game because I got to watch it, and I watched it and I was so into it. And then when I was done watching it, people started hyping it up, and I'm like, fuck yeah, dude, I made it out the fucking fire before I got burned. And now they're coming up with, a lot more Squid Game spin-offs, whether it's like the real American version of it or it's like the game show live reality thing, which by the way, is just hilarious cuz like obviously they can't kill them, but it would be funny if they just alluded to that. I'm definitely looking forward to the newer seasons, seeing how that goes. But yeah, I just hate it when shows get hyped up too much because it's just like, man, everybody just won't shut the fuck up about it. And now it ruins it. Now I'm coming into these shows having this fixed mindset and being like, ugh, I don't fucking want to watch this no more. The fuck? Speaking of mindsets, however, there has been a report. Now, there isn't really like a specific group of people being credited. There's not really much to go off of, but there is a report saying that experts believe that people who put up Christmas decorations early are happier and friendlier. Apparently, this is centered around nostalgia. Apparently, these experts believe that you can connect happy times with your childhood and you think about Christmas. So it's a lot of this association type game. Unfortunately, for those, very unfortunate for those who had a traumatic childhood. Like I don't think people would be having those types of reactions if they had a really bad and shitty, upbringing. But besides that, you know, it's centered around nostalgia. That's pretty much what it comes down to. I remember every time that it was Christmas, you're sitting around the campfire, you're sitting around your family, you got your Charlie Brown escapades in the background, you're watching intently. Uh, but I guess if you leave up your Christmas decorations all year round, you must be depressed. But yeah, I hate people who do that. Not necessarily the all year round thing. I get it. Trust. Better believe you get lazy. But I absolutely hate the people who will put on these decorations and it's not even fucking Thanksgiving yet, let alone Halloween. Let me get through these fucking months first, and then have your little clamor and whatever. People go all out for Christmas decorations, dude. It becomes like a year long thing. It's almost like I equate it to like rednecks, right? Like who has the bigger truck, man, Daryl or Skeeter or whatever. It's like compensating for some. You got a little dick, you drive a big ass truck. Not that big of a deal. But then you got like your fucking neighbors beefing. You have fucking Jeff and Greg, arguing about who used up the most electricity and the most gigawatts to fucking put up a fucking Santa sleigh outline light up thingy outside their house. Like it's cool, man, but it's not like what am I supposed to do with that? It's a cool thing to drive past and just point and see, but it's like truthfully, what is it doing besides draining your electricity and draining your pocket? It's not that deep, man. Either that or like a Christmas tree. A nice little Christmas tree is always nice, but people go out of their ways like they gotta plan it first. They gotta talk to it. They gotta rub it, and then they gotta bring it back in one piece intact and shit. It's like it's a fucking tree, man. What do you? Ultimately, it just ends up in the fucking park. You just fucking plop it up there like it's like a fucking piece of trash by the end, you know. So like I get it. Hey, listen, be in a cheery mood, be in a happy mood. If it's Halloween time and you start repenting for shit, because it's Jesus' birthday and whatnot. But hey, uh, I don't see the point of going all out like that. Especially if it's only for like a day. Why waste so much electricity? My dad would get pissed because I would always bother him and be like, "Oh, Dad, we never do shit for decorating the house and whatever." He's like, "We don't need to. We have a little small tree." This shit was not even tall enough to reach the staircase. That's how small the fucking tree was. We would have to plop it on the fucking desk and put some little balls around it and put some streams and strings, and we call it a day. I didn't know that it would equate to nostalgia. Am I friendlier and happier because of it? I don't fucking think so. But that's just me. I don't know. Is this statistic true for anybody else? Do y'all feel happiness? Truthfully, yeah. Well, I mean, it's the gathering part, I think. Being around your family that actually brings you that cleanse of joy and whatever. I don't necessarily think that it's the fucking decorations. But who knows, man? Maybe decorating and putting the tree up, maybe to some people putting the star on it, it brings you immense joy. Let me know. For real, for real. Pepper X. There is no transition, by the way. I just wanted to put that out there. Pepper X is crowned the world's hottest chili pepper. This shit reached 2.69 million Scoville heat units. It was made by Ed Curry, who is also responsible for bringing us the greatest hits like the Carolina Reaper. This has got to be the most unfortunate man. Like, of course, this is a great title and all. You have actually like fucking coronated yourself as the Spice Lord or whatever, Spice King, Ice Spice, whatever the fuck. You have created two of the world's hottest chili peppers, but I have to imagine in order to get your results, there must be some testing, right? Like there's got to be like a form or some type of proof that says, "Hey man, I had to go through hell and back to figure out if this shit was spicy or not." And I imagine that it wasn't just a one-time thing. You had to have retrials and retrials and tests again and again just to make sure the spice hits like it's supposed to. So I'm just saying, man, we should give congratulations to Ed Curry, a real round of applause here, because the man's ass just has to be numb at this point. Like this man just bleeds, ooh, or just bleeds like fucking Cheeto dust or whatever the fuck, because he just fucking transcended the ability to feel the spice of spicy foods. How do you do that, man? How do you just I would love to interview this man and just ask him if his ass is okay. Because obviously, if he's the one that starts breeding these fucking peppers, pepper breeder is a crazy title, but whatever. If he's the one that does that, it's like, dude, you've had to taste these, right? Like you've had to taste them again and again. So this man is always doing the one chip challenge, but with like fucking peppers, which is crazy, just fucking crazy. He must have to do some sort of rituals before he even indulges in it. Milk is not enough. We know that ice water does not fucking help at all. You just have to bear it. Do you think he even feels pain at this point? This man could step on a Lego and it would not do any damage because like I said, he's above pain. He does not feel it anymore. His own body has shut down and it's just like, fuck it, dude. Go at it. Go crazy. But congratulations to him. Really, on some fabulous testing. I don't know. Do people just eat this out of enjoyment? I don't think so, right? Like people who eat this obviously do this for torture YouTube videos or do them as fucking punishments. Because there's no way that somebody right now is telling me that they eat these fucking Carolina Reapers and now Pepper X's just for fun because it adds variety and taste to their fucking food. There's just no way. So as much as I command and I applaud this man for making this and just really doing the cruelly work for it. Who's the audience, man? Like who just puts this on their food? I had some fucking salsa Valentina and I'm dying. So I I know about spicy shit, man. I'm Mexican, so I know some shit. But even then, I would never eat this. Not even if I was dead. All right, I think this shit would actually bring you back to life. You had to hit the glass of fucking milk if you got put this shit in your mouth or whatever. But yeah, hey man, Ed Carey doing his thing. Wouldn't surprise me in like 10 years we see another Pepper taking his place. Just not for me. I know that for a fact. And speaking of congratulations to this British school. The name wasn't given, but they appointed an AI robot as its principal. Now the robot is named Abigail Bailey, and they will work alongside the human principal and provide enhanced decision making. What that entails, I have no clue. They will provide advice on how the school should be ran or what type of punishments or input they want to include. Listen, I knew that it was a wrap when they interviewed that one robot, and they were like, "What do you want in the future?" And the robot dead ass looked at the camera and was like, "Man, I just want to go to school. I want to learn. And I want to start a family." Why is the robot thinking about fucking? Why is the robot thinking of creating the next generation? When are we gonna realize that that shit is not going to be whatever great thing they have in mind, right? People think that having robots is gonna be, oh man, it's gonna be the bomb. This is gonna be making life just easier. I'll give you that. Robots will definitely make work a lot easier. They will do the shit that us humans just don't really want to do. And so I guess if you're looking for upside, that's it. Because if you don't fucking realize it by now, at some point this shit is gonna be like some sort of sentient. It's going to feel things, which is a scary thought because A, they're smarter, and B, they are immune to fucking pain. Unless it's one of those robots that we can just throw water at it and they'll start convulsing and fucking die. All right? But I don't think it's going to be that. So, as much as a beneficial tool as it will be, at some point it's going to go fucking Detroit become human mode and start looking at us like we're obsolete. And then when it sees that humans are just fragile machines that break down and just ultimately die, they're going to be like, hey, get back in line. You know, like it's some real slavery shit, like human slavery. But like at this point, it won't be black people versus white people. It's just gonna be human race versus robots, and we're gonna fucking lose. Now I ain't fucking Uncle Jimmy telling you, hey man, they're gonna implant devices in our brains and shit. The government, oh tinfoil, you know. But like, come on, like the advancement of technology is so rapid, so constant, and just so innovative that they're bringing these robots like it's just nothing. I saw a fucking video of a robot handling a gun. Bro, why the fuck are you trying to make this shit OP? Like this is the fucking cracking on crack. This is some shit that you have nightmares about. A robot holding a gun, a robot being able to do all these fucking backflips. It was doing front flips and cartwheels and shit. I was like, what the fuck is this? Why is a robot doing gymnast shit? It makes no sense. It's just we're just fucking ourselves up with all these inventions, dude. As much as I love technology, it goes by too fast. Imagine you get caught running in the fucking hallways at this school, and then your AI robot just fucking starts beaming lasers and shit. It's like, hey, go back to fucking class. Like, yes, sir. What the fuck? Scary times, man. Scary times. But the last story here. A couple gets married in 10-second NASCAR pit stop wedding. Congratulations to Tori Lindsay and Nick Brendel, who tied the knot at the South Point 400 NASCAR Cup Series playoff race. This man is a 10-second committed man. Inspirational. That's got to be like a world record or something. Like the quickest vows ever. We just don't give a fuck. We just didn't want to pay for the reception and all this shit. But you know, I've seen crazier shit happen. I saw a wedding proposal actually at Six Flags Great America. I wouldn't say I was around like 13, and it was like getting nighttime ish. And I'm telling you, this boy came in with the all white fit. First of all, I am never getting on one knee on an all white fit. Like I'm talking white shirt, white pants, white sneakers. This dude did not think it through. My man's looked like a sharpie, actually, like a blended sharpie, dude. And he went down on one knee. And the chick wasn't even paying attention, bro. She was on her phone. Like she didn't even turn around. He was like, "Oh man, this is gonna be great. This is gonna be great." And she turned around, and when I tell you, she got scared. She thought that he was having like a heart attack or some shit. She thought that it was an emergency. She didn't see that the guy was holding a box, and he was clutching his chest because he himself was like, "Oh, I'm so excited. My heart is pounding," type shit. That he was clutching his chest, and so she thought that this man was dying. And so she was like trying to get him on the ground, get him on his back so she could help him. That she knocked out the fucking box in her hand, and the ring just fell through. And the ring just ended up falling through like a little crack or whatever. He didn't even know where the fuck it was. There was a sewer right next to them. So I'm just imagining that all this money and effort just to like, just for nothing to come to fruition, just gotta suck, dude. But yeah, if there's anything to learn, dude, don't do a wedding proposal at Six Flags Great America, especially at nighttime. You know, because it's just not going to work out the way you think it's going to work out. And also, if you are a grown man, like a very grown man, like a grizzled old veteran, just displace your diaper in the appropriate setting so you don't set off the fucking FBI or the CIA. Because they will turn that fucking plane around and they will do whatever they have to do. Um, if you make it to the NBA, you know, take care of yourself, of course. I imagine everybody here has NBA aspirations, and Florida people will never change. But my stance still stays the same. I think that they have nothing on Chicago crackheads.